Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming. It's a pleasure. This is my first time in the What Works series. I'm really happy to be here. Today we're going to talk about how we create effective community wellness programs. And I'm going to do that through actually demonstrating one of the programs that I run at the American School of Dubai. Just a kind of a brief background. I'm the school psychologist for the American School of Dubai. I've been in Dubai for 2 years, and it's their first I'm their first school psychologist. They haven't had one before. So I've kind of been creating the programs as I'm going. And a lot of what I'm doing, this is on the ground. These are things that are happening actually right now. So it's all very new, what I'm presenting. But I think the benefit of that is you get to actually hear it kind of straight from the source about what are some of the hurdles, challenges, but great successes that can happen within Dubai using these programs that we're creating by ourselves. Use an arrow. Okay. So to kind of get the ground running, I want everybody to think of whatever program you're at, whatever school you're at, whatever you do, your responsibility is in your community. What do you feel, I'm going to refer to schools because that's what we're here for. What is it that you feel your school, your broader community needs? Where are those needs? Are they in your younger years? Are they in your older years? Are they with your staff and faculty? Are they with your parents? Is it cross-divisionally? Where is it that you think you need that? Is it with education, where you guys need more support? Is it in wellness, where you need more support? So just kind of take a minute to think about what it is that your school needs, where you can kind of fill in those gaps. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about where I saw some gaps and room for growth at our schools in terms of community development. So there was 2 areas when I first came to Dubai, to the American School of Dubai, that I realized I'm seeing our student population struggle here. And the first was the overwhelming amount of stress. How did I realize that our community was in a constant state of stress? My office door, I could have just had a rotating door, really. I mean, it was just parents were coming in all with the same story. You know, my kids aren't sleeping, I'm feeling overworked, you know, they're crying at night. Kids were coming in saying I'm having panic attacks. Teachers were coming in saying I think my hair is falling out. It was kind of all of those general signs, and it was coming from all of these different members of our community, that they were just feeling really stressed and they weren't sure what to do about it. Sorry. Welcome. Come on in. So this was the one area that I noticed as soon as I got there, that this was an area where I thought, there can be some improvement here. We can definitely create a program so that everybody can feel supported. The second thing that I became very aware of was female relational aggression in our community.
This is not translated into Arabic?
Sorry?
It's not translated into Arabic?
No, not for me.
Not for me.
No. So female relational aggression, I'm going to just explain that a little bit because that's really where I'm going to talk about the program that I've invested the most in our community. So female relational aggression, it's different than what we consider kind of typical bullying, which happens within the male community. So typical bullying in the male community is going to be, you know, kind of getting into fist fights, pushing each other in the hallway, things along those lines. Female relational aggression is different because it's not direct. It's very much indirect bullying. So I was getting just a large amount of referrals basically from young girls who were saying, you know, I'm being made fun of online, in our online community, or they're isolating me in the cafeteria. Nobody's inviting me to sit with them. Or I walk down the hallway and all of a sudden I hear all the girls whisper in turn. So this is female relational aggression, and I was seeing a lot of these referrals come in through my office, and we basically document incidences of bullying in our school. Kids have to fill out referral forms so we can track what's happening. So I use this as a tracking mechanism to see what's going on and where might those areas of support be needed. So these were the 2 things that I realized in our community, these were our needs. And these were things that I felt confident being able to help support. So the first being a stress series for our school, and the second being a targeted intervention for female relational aggression. Can somebody think, raise your hand and let me know, where is an area in your school where you feel that there is a need that could be supported by a community wellness program? Thank you.
Eating disorders.
Eating disorders. There could definitely be a program around what it means to have healthy eating and healthy self-perception, most definitely.
Promoting assertiveness.
Promoting assertiveness, definitely. What area would that, like what demographic?
For children who are lacking confidence to stand up for themselves.
Most definitely. That would be a great program to start. Can anybody else share one more program that you could see as an area of need for your school community?
Kids who are lonely.
Kids who are learning?
Lonely.
Who are lonely. So kind of like maybe a friendship skills type of program. Wonderful. Those are excellent. Those are all really great ideas. And I hope at the end of this session you will feel more empowered to run with that program. Because I'm here to tell you that you within your community, both as somebody who is capable of starting it and being able to reach out to other community members who are actually experts in the field, we just have to find them and pull out their strengths, you can start a community program with just one person and watch it grow. It's pretty amazing. Okay, so now that you kind of had some thoughts, where are those needs and how can you find out those needs? I told you in our school, we do bully incident forms, so that's one way. Just the amount of referrals that come into my office, that's another way to find that out. You might do some sort of community poll as well. There's different sorts of polls that you can download them off the internet and give them out to your community members. You can make one yourself on a Google form. No, that's okay. And then you can send them out to your broader community. And this is a really good way to just kind of figure out where are those needs and hear it directly from your community members. Okay, so now that you know exactly what it might be, so whether it's a friendship group, whether it's assertive skills, whether it's female relational aggression, you've decided this is a program that I want to start, who is your target group? This is really, really important. And I'm going to talk about one of our programs that's doing well, and I'm going to talk about one of our programs that's not doing so well, because I didn't do such a great job. I'm learning from my mistakes. I want to share that with you as well. So the program that is doing not so well is our Sunday Stress series. So remember how I told you guys that my office was just a rotating door? People just were coming in, teachers, faculty, students alike. So I started this program called the Sunday Stress Series, and I thought, what a great idea that my target group can actually be the entire community, because they're all coming in. Wouldn't it be an excellent idea to have everybody, parents, teachers, students, come and sit down and talk about what it is that they're experiencing, how stress is affecting their lives, who's doing what, so we can learn from each other. Doesn't that just sound like a really nice holistic idea? Can anybody tell me why that large target group, it failed? Why did that project completely fail?
Because the different groups are actually finding each other stressful.
They did. They were finding each other stressful. They didn't feel that that was going to be a safe environment to have that conversation. Why else may it not have been such a great idea to make my target group so broad?
The sheer number of people.
The sheer number. Now you'd think the sheer number of people would be a problem. Guess how many people showed up to my first Sunday Stress series? 3. And I'm talking about a community with 1,600 kids. And that means double the amount of parents, and we're talking about 200 faculty and staff. So why? I mean, I advertised like you couldn't believe for this thing. I promoted it. I said, I will give you food. It will be fantastic. It's not, a talk at you session. It's really a nice forum. I tried to present it as beautifully as possible, but nobody came. The problem was I actually didn't have a target group. It is really important to start small to grow big when you're starting a community wellness program. Because I cannot tell you how distraught I was when I showed up and I had all my healthy muffins and my juice and my slideshow ready to go and about 50 chairs in a circle, and then 3 kind of people wandered into the room. Are we in the right place? And so it wasn't effective. I'd already basically crashed and burned before I started, and that's because I assumed that bigger was going to be better. So let me tell you about one of my programs that's working really well. And that would be our Club GEM, our Girls Empowerment and Mentoring Group. This is the group that focuses on female relational aggression. Now, I didn't target the group by saying, girls, you're invited to this group because I've heard that, you are being bullies to your other peers. It wasn't like that at all. So I realized that our need was to educate girls about how to be leaders. Because if you have all the qualities of a leader, are you going to be a bully? No. It's pretty impossible. They just do not overlap. If you were a leader, it means that you're encompassing the strengths of everybody around you. So if you know what everybody's strengths are and you're using them to unite each other, then you're not going to be isolating girls. You're not going to be talking bad about them online. So I had to find some way to spin it in a really healthy and positive way. So when you know what your needs are and you know what your target group is, so for me, Club GEM was 5th to 12th grade females, a much smaller demographic than what I had for my Sunday Stress series, a much more capable demographic for me to be able to work with. So I knew what my need was. I found out my target group. I was able to spin it in a healthy and positive way. So for instance, if we had the group focusing on students who are lonely, we wouldn't want to call it the lonely kids group, right? You know, not so positive. I don't know how many recruits you're going to get. So what would be a positive spin on trying to promote kids who are lonely to gain some skills? How could we label that group? Anybody?
Making connections.
Making connections. How fun of a name is that? I like it. Being able to make connections. And some positive people, some of your target group might be the new kids in your community, to pull them in as well. So we want to mix up this group a little bit. So to come back to my Club GEM group, how I mixed this group up and how I started small to aim big was I didn't even incorporate all 5th to 12th grade girls. This is my end goal. This is what I want the program to look like in 5 years. What I did last year when I started this program was I only invited 7th and 8th grade girls into the program. That was it. And I only invited them after polling teachers and asking them, what are some girls who could really use the benefit of this program, and who are some girls who would be my natural leaders? Why did I have to mix up the program a little bit? Why is that a benefit?
Because they love them. Use those without issues to model for the ones that aren't.
You got it. As much as we would like to think that kids idolize us and they want to be exactly who we are, they really idolize their peers. And it's so important when we're starting these community programs to train peers, or to use peers who already naturally have some of those skills that we're seeking, to use them as their models. And also, when we integrate the groups, we're actually sustaining the group a little bit longer. So for instance, I chose only 7th and 8th grade girls to do this program, and I only chose 10 of them. That was it. That was what I could handle, what I could deal with. Remember, starting small to grow big. Now, I have 8th and 9th grade girls who've already done the program. They've completed it. This year, they underwent Club GEM student leadership training. So for them to be student leaders for 6th grade girls. So they went through the program. So the first step was I basically had girls go through the program themselves. And you could do this with anything. You could do this with your Making Connections group for the friendships. You could do this with your student empowerment group that you're doing. So that you're going to go through, kids are going to experience the program. You then take those students who have gone through the program, no matter what it is, and you make them your student leaders. Because kids model other kids. And this is a way to make the program sustainable. So as the program grows, I'm going to get student leaders who've already been through the program, and they are going to be my allies in this. They are going to be my instructors. They are going to be running their own groups this year for 6th grade girls. Now, because I trained those 10 girls, I can open up this program to the entire 6th grade female population this year, because I have 6 student leaders who are prepared to guide groups. So again, last year I was aiming really small, this year a little bit bigger, and the hope is that in 5 years I will have seniors who can be our student leaders, so 12th graders who can be our student leaders for 5th grade girls. Starting small to grow big. You see, there's kind of a message that I'm trying to keep presenting here. So now, I want to have a kind of a dyad between you and a partner, if you can kind of find a shoulder buddy in turn. And I want you to talk about a group that you're imagining. What does this group look like? Who is doing the talking in this group? How big is the room? So again, not answering all of these questions, but to have a little side conversation for about 30 seconds each on a group that you're imagining and what are some elements of these groups that might make it successful. Everybody turn. Everybody here is friendly. I promise. I promise. They're going to love your ideas. It's going to be exciting. And all right, 30 seconds for one person, then we'll go to the next. In 5 seconds, I'm going to ask you to switch partners, or just switch talkers. Other person, share your ideas, please.
For 3 years in KG1 or no?
Sorry?
In KG1, I take this for program to in KG1, Arabic KG1.
Yes?
Can I take for this idea?
Yeah, of course. All right, I'm going to give 5 seconds to kind of come to a lull. See, you ended up being very chatty anyways. Everybody was really nervous at first. You did a great job. So now I'm going to show you an idea. This, of course, isn't the only idea, but this is how I typically run my programs. Whatever it's going to be, whether it's for parents, whether it's for teachers, students, or you guys, we're all going to do the same. So whenever I start a group, I always let everybody know what is it that what can they expect for that session that we're going to do for the program that day. These are actually some true blue posters that I created last year for my girls. Again, just simple. But we would run the program every Thursday for about an hour. And every Thursday, the 10 girls would come in. I'd go through exactly what the plan was for the day. And something that I always include in every program that I run is a talking activity and a movement activity. So we're actually going to start a quiet talking activity with our entire group. If everybody could stand up and move their way to the back, please. I'll lead. Watch out for a friendly videographer. If everybody can come behind this line of masking tape. You got it? Follow the pack. You're a lovely looking group. Why did I have everybody come and stand in the back? Whenever we're running a program, again, no matter the population, thank you, it is important that we make that population feel like a community. And there's so many different activities that you can pull on from the internet, from different counseling books. You don't need to buy any materials to make this happen. They're all out there online for free. To make everybody feel as if they are a community. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to start with kind of a subtle community one. I'm going to make a statement. If that statement is true, I want you to walk over the line of masking tape and then shuffle on back. So the first statement, I am a teacher. If it's true, come and step over the line of masking tape. Beautiful. And step back. Second statement, I have a dog. What just happened?
Connection.
A connection was made. All right, step on back. My favorite color is purple. But you're both wearing red, so interesting. Okay. And I have a child. Beautiful. Okay, everybody come on back. As you come back, I'm going to hand you a slip of blank paper.
You want me to get a couple for the back?
That would be great. Thank you.
Oh, you are. Thank you. You'll need a couple more.
I didn't expect the group to be this big.
Contacts come in the folder.
Oh, well, that's right. You guys all have paper. Okay, take a slip of paper.
Recycled.
I want you to fold that piece of paper in half, and we're going to play something called the name game. On the left side of that paper, I want you to write a need in your school. So for instance, if I was doing this, I would write female relational aggression. And then I want you to write your target group. Mine would be 5th to 12th grade females. Once you've done both of those, I want you to fold your sheet of paper again, and I want you to give it to the person on your right-hand side. If you're at the end of a row, I trust in you guys to be able to figure out how to pass it to somebody else. No, no, no. You're just writing the need in your school and then the target population.
The needs of what we want to improve.
You got it. Where do you see a need for a program in your school? And then take it and pass it to the person on your right, please. When you get that slip of paper that somebody has passed to you, I want you to think of a fun name for that program. We're sharing ideas here. So for instance, the name that I created for my female group was Club GEM. So Girls Empowerment and Mentoring. Sorry? What goes under the, and then your target group. Sorry? It can be anything you want it to be. And then once your lovely right-hand partner has created a name, I want you to pass it back to the original owner. And then original owner, pass it to somebody on your left-hand side, please. Is it making sense? Is Is it making sense? I see this look of confusion. Once you've written it, pass it back to the original owner. Original owner, pass it to somebody on your left-hand side and do the same thing. Your left-hand buddy will come up with a fun and creative name for you. On the spot. You guys got this. After your left-hand buddy has given you a new name, pass it back to the original owner.
We haven't made the move.
For the sake of time, I'm going to give it 30 more seconds. I apologize. We were cut 15 minutes short this morning. I have to move on, unfortunately, but I will re-explain what it was that I was hoping would happen. All right, so now that you have your original piece of paper back, hopefully, after every activity that you do with a group, no matter the age, I don't care if it's K1, I don't care if it's teachers, parents, there is always a need to debrief the activities that you do. You should never just do an activity and expect that everybody understands why you ran that activity. The activity that we ran in the back, when we had that kind of dog connection, what was the point of starting off a community wellness program with some sort of bonding activity? Why? Why do that?
Why?
Sorry?
Can I take what is it? For child, why?
I'm not understanding the question. I'm going to pose my question one more time. Is that okay?
To develop a level of comfort between them so that they're able to communicate, it opens a channel.
That's right. When you're starting a program, these are individuals who hopefully will trust each other. They need to trust you, but they also need to build those own bonds, their own bonds. They need to find ways which they can connect with each other. So no matter the group that we're talking about, my girls group, a Sunday stress series, a friendship group, they need to be able to look to somebody who they may not have any experience knowing and all of a sudden say, oh yeah, okay, we have some footing now to maintain some sort of communication with each other, some level of trust. It's really important that you open up community programs with some sort of trust exercise. Now, I am not stating, for the record, that you should open up community programs by having people fall into each other's arms as trust exercises. I'm not stating that you should have them tell their deep, dark secrets. That is not what it's about. It's about an initial level of comfort and trust. And to do that with an activity, for instance, that they don't even have to say anything. They don't need to talk about their feelings. They don't need to mention emotions. All they have to do for that very first one, all you guys had to do, a community of individuals who may not know each other at all you had to do is step over a line to make a connection. It's a very safe activity. And again, these activities can all be found online. Just Google safe bonding activities. It's amazing. What did we do before the internet? Now, looking at our pieces of paper, so you talked about what is your need, who is your target population. My next question is, who are the experts at your school? The beautiful part about being part of a school community is that you have expertise in almost every single area. From handfuls of people, they're just there, they're waiting. You don't necessarily know by looking at somebody who might be that yoga instructor, who might have a degree in nutrition, who might have some really great experience in early childhood education. They are in your community, I promise you. You just have to look. You just have to ask. Seek the parents in your community. Look to other professionals, maybe not within your division. Look to your PE teachers when it comes to nutrition and wellness. Look to your school nurses, your school doctor, if you have one. You are all there for support. And in terms of those papers that went back and forth, who were some experts in this room that helped you name your program, if you decided to go with any of those? Each other. We are all experts, and this is always a message that I try to pass on to my community programs. So for the Club Gem group, when the girls sit down and we have our initial bonding activity and we do a movement activity where they're all getting up and kind of giggling and having fun with each other, when we sit down, the next thing I always tell them is that you are experts in leadership. You know what a leader looks like. To sit those kids down in those making connection groups and to say, you have seen others make connections. You've made connections yourself. You are experts. A stress series for parents, to sit them down, to say, within this parent community, we have expertise here. We need to trust in ourselves and we need to trust in each other and make these connections. These are what make community programs sustainable, by trusting in the expertise of those around us. So here's just a list of the experts that I've sought assistance for my programs. High school girls, nobody knows relational aggression better than they do. They are my go-tos when I have questions. They help me run my programs, create new activities. They tell me what worked and what didn't work. It's really important to get that feedback and to not be personally offended, you know? If we have expertise in mental health or wellness ourselves, doesn't mean we're always gonna run things perfectly. Sunday stress series, anybody? So to just get that feedback and be open to that is really important when we're talking about programming. You know the program you want to run. You've made some connections with experts in your field. Now the big question a lot of people ask, how do I get my programming materials? How do I make this happen? Programs can be really expensive. Sometimes you have to like muddle through, you know, a whole bunch of different programs to get the one that you want, and there's not always time for that. This is where I enlist my friend Google. The programs that I've created for the failed Sunday Stress series and the promising Club Gem group, I have gotten all of my materials online. I haven't paid a penny for anything. It's very doable and it's very accessible. There are some sites that are always my go-to sites. For instance, for anything related to health, I always go to the Mayo Clinic. Their website is fantastic and it's reliable. Very, very important. Harvard Medicine, again, they have every single topic that you could ever have a question about when it comes to mental wellness, when it comes to physical health. It's all there, again, valid and reliable evidence. Kids Health is a really fun one, and they have programs and links that really speak to kids. Being able to give 5th grade students a Harvard Medicine link, not going to be very accurate. But being able to maybe run through, you know, a kind of Q&A with them on Kids Health that takes about 5 minutes, fantastic. They can totally relate to that. Google Images. Whenever I'm presenting with kids, I always try to find some sort of image for them to connect it to. Words, for a lot of kids, especially the younger years, it's sometimes hard for them to relate to that, but images is something that they can immediately make that connection with. For Club Gem, a lot of what I do for Club Gem and kind of what you can see from my posters here is we do a lot of activities. We always start with a talking activity, and then we end with a movement activity. All of these activities I have found online, and I've created a curriculum from it. I would love to share this curriculum with you. Anybody in this room, just leave me your email address and your name, and I will email you a 10-session curriculum that I've created for the girls' empowerment and mentoring. And I'm happy to share. And how awesome would it be if we as a community, we all shared those resources that we created? I mean, again, we are all experts in this room. If you have something to share, let's do it. You know, this is a place for it. One place that you can always do this is there's a a web-based sharing module. I don't know if I have this correct, but it's called Counselors Net. And this is one where counselors ask questions. It's kind of a big server. And whenever I have a question about programming or curriculum, I always throw my question on there. I'm sure there's probably other similar types. And I always get an answer. And a lot of schools locally in Dubai will help as well with all of those different curriculums. But this is one that I would love to share. How did I find it all? I found my movement activities by, Googling movement activities for females. I found a whole bunch on Mr. Jim. Becky's Guiding Resource Center gave me a lot as well. And then Counselor's Room is where I got all of my talking activities from. So they are out there. I'm telling you right now, you do not need to buy a program. You really can make one. And the best part about making one is you can tailor it to your population. Okay, this is something else that I realized is really, really important. How do you advertise your program? Again, one of the things that really defeated me was when I put all of this effort and energy and time into creating a Sunday stress series, and then 2 more minutes, into creating a Sunday stress series, and then nobody showed up. And I realized part of that was definitely because my target audience was too big, but the other problem was I assumed that everybody just read our school newsletter. I just, happy, content, I just like, yeah, of course everybody's gonna look at that. I can just put it in this one location, everybody will see it. No, that ended up not being the truth. We ran the numbers and actually only about 20% of our community read the student newspaper, and then of that, only about 5% truly read it. The rest just kind of skimmed through it. So programs can get lost if we're not really specific about how we advertise. So I learned. I re-upped my game. I made sure to include keywords. I made sure to make it short and sweet in the announcement that I was giving. I gave some sort of attention grabber, like, hey, isn't this going to be a good time? And then I learned this from one of the masters at our school. You always say that there's going to be food. People will come for food. And so this is something I always provide in all of my groups. For the sake of time, I think this might be our last slide. How are you going to make a program meaningful and long-lasting? If you put all of this energy into creating a program that's one that works for your school, how are you going to make sure that it's there in 5 years? I mean, isn't that what we want for our programs? Otherwise, what's the point of putting all this energy into it? So this is where I'm going to reiterate again that we have to start small to grow big. Go ahead, set your 5-year plan, but make sure in that first year that really what you're doing is you're making an investment in a small few. So you're making those community attachments with those experts in your area. You're really investing in that small pool of teachers who you're going to train. You're really investing in that small pool of parents or students. That's where you're going to start. And then to make that something that's growing even bigger, create a blog. Put it on your site. Have those who are in the program add to the blog. I don't care if they're second graders. It's amazing what they can do with iPads nowadays. Make it visual. Take photos of the sessions that you're having. Put them in the yearbook. Put them in your school newspaper. Show people how much fun this program is that you're doing, because that's really what it's about. People want to come to a fun program, an effective program. And then a great way, this is something that my girls did without any prompting. They came to me this year, the girls who had gone through the program, and they said, we would like to add a service element to this. Awesome. This is why kids rock. Kids know way better than we do because they are so open to making things happen. They want this program to be long-lasting. So they started a service element for something called Women for Women International. They researched this independently. They realized we only need to raise $360 throughout the year to support one woman in a war-torn country to give her leadership skills herself. They made that connection between what they were learning and how to make that connection to the wider world. It's so impressive that when we give children or community members just a little bit, how we can watch it grow. So what I've done is I've just fostered that. I said yes. I've helped them with their community service project, and it's taking off, and we're doing our first yogathon this year. So it's all of these ways in which we can watch it grow. Thank you so much, and again, please leave your email and your name, and I can send you the curriculum that I've created. I apologize for going over, but it was so nice to meet you.
We'd like to thank